The only forged memory location currently in central Illinois. And it is crunch time, people. I got to get some more blades done. Because this weekend, trifecta, Robbie Bowman, Cheyenne Brown-Rhodes, and myself will be at Eustace Conway's Turtle Island Preserve from Mountain Men on the History Channel in Boone, North Carolina. There is a link in the description. Check that out. And I will be, I'm going to be trying to get some more knives done, at least forged out before we go down there, because it is going to be a crazy busy week. And we're going to have some catching up to do when we get back. People, if you have not liked and subscribed yet, hit that notification button. It's a great time to do so. And like always, I think I messed up. Let's see, 32. Oh, one more mark. I want to cut this into sections, and then I'm going to get them in the forge, and I'm going to do some live forging. Turtle Island Preserve is very unique. If you watch Mountain Men on the History Channel, you've probably seen some of it. What you see there is pretty much what you get. It's primitive, living nature at its best. What was 36 inches of 1 inch by 3/16 1095 high carbon steel. And I'm actually making these for another reason. Robbie Bowman is hosting an event, or hosting the forging festival at Smoky Mountain Knife Works in Sevierville, Tennessee. I always say Pigeon Forge. They kind of run together October 17th through 19th, and we hope to see you there. Link in the description, Iron Mountain Metal Forge and Memory Family. Now, if you don't know who Robbie is a Forged and Fired fan favorite. And this weekend, you get to learn from 3 different Forged and Fired competitors. Robbie Bowman, seasons 3 and 4, episodes 5. Cheyenne Brown, season 9, episode 5. And myself, I was on season 4, episode 2. Also on a show on Discovery called Master of Arms. Made a flintlock axe pistol kind of look like that. Alright, I think I got 9 pieces. 36 divided by 4, is that 9? Let's find out. I got 9 pieces and I got my forge up to temp, guys. We're going to come over here and we're going to deburr. Now, why do you want to deburr your material? A couple reasons. One, that burr right there will cut you really bad. Also, I don't want to forge it into my material. guys. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to start off with these three. Now you see how I've got them cut at a slight angle? That's going to make it easier for me to draw those out with that power hammer. So I'm going to do tips first. I'm going to try running 3 at a time. And I hope this works okay. Now, I did this in a previous video about forging blades for the upcoming event at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And here are some of those blades that I forged. That one's got a little bit of a little deformation at the tip. Now it don't. All right. So I'm going through and I'm making the blades for a series of knives called the Classic American Forge series. It's a Brown-Rhodes Forge Works design, and they vary. They are forged. They are going to vary. They are high quality, made in the USA, made right here by the sexiest bald man you ever seen. All right, guys, here we go. So as soon as these get up to temp, I'm going to come over here to the power hammer. Now some people say, well, if you're using tools, it's not hand forged. Well, a hammer's a tool, unless you want to do a fist like this and beat on hot steel. So it's still hand forged. Now I got to find, oh, there's for this process, I'm going to use 3 different sets of tongs. When I first go into the forge and I'm drawing out the tip, I'm going to use these tongs right here. I'm going to draw out that tip. Once that's drawn out and I turn it around, it's going to be much narrower, and I'll use these tongs from Iron Dungeon Forge. I'll draw out the tang. Once the tang is drawn out and I start hand forging those bevels, I use these tongs made out of some old horse hoof nippers, nail head cutters, if you will. And I want to tell you something. These tongs have been on more television shows than most other equipment probably has. I think I had these. I know I had them on Master of Arms. I probably took it for Forged to Fire. Josh Nicolaitis took it for Forged to Fire. So did Cheyenne. So what we're going to do, I got that power hammer kicked on. You might be able to hear that. And I'm not up to 10 yet. But I am getting really, really close. So, what I'll do, I'm going to, I kind of video shifted for a minute. I'm going to bring it up to temp and get the rough shape on that. It's going to take me just a few heats. Then I'm going to run 3 grain refinement cycles. I'm going to normalize that blade in that process. And then I'm going to put 3 more in. So it's going to be busy. If you got questions, comments, anything like that, as long as it's appropriate, please post it. And like I said, if you haven't liked and subscribed, hit that notification button. Check it out, guys. We got more videos coming, and there's a lot of videos to check out on the channel. Now, there's also links in the description to cool, educational, and just fun stuff. Those are things I like. rough blade shape, and that's why I'm using multiple sets of tongs here. There's my second one. And there's the third one. All right. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to be pulling this tang out from that material. And may say, hey, how are you going to get a knife that size out of material that small? Well, that is the wonderful thing about forging, is you can take a piece of steel like that and draw it out like this. Whereas if I'm doing stock removal, I got to start with at least that much steel and take the rest of it away. So if you've ever played with Play-Doh or clay or anything like that, it's a similar matter. Is you just place that material and you move it around. All right, guys, here we go. it takes me a couple heats to get these roughed out into a blank, and then I go through and I do the hand pouring. One family. So what I'm doing today, I'm going through and I'm taking approximately 4-inch long sections of 1 inch by 3/16 1095 high carbon steel. And I'm forging them out into knife blades for an upcoming event. I'm doing this because I've got to get up on some projects, because this weekend we'll be teaching at the Turtle Island Preserve. Eustace Conway's from the Mountain Man History Channel, at Mountain Man History Channel show, and so we'll be making knives down there, and I won't be getting stuff done for the shop. Time to draw this out again. Here's another. All right. All right, so next thing I will be doing, I'm going to start hammering out those bevels, okay? Now, with this, it's pretty much all handwork now. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to knock that tip down, and then I'm going to start laying in the bevels, and that's going to cause that tip to rise back up as that edge material expands. See how that's come up some. Now, I'm going to come in here and do the same thing. And you can once more see how that edge curves up now. Now, if you're making an upswept tip, it works just fine that way. Well, that one's actually going to drop a little bit because it's pretty straight back. I did have a little different freeform on it. What is my name? My name is Dustin Rhodes. Blade blank forged out. We'll put that back in the forge, let it heat up, let it cool. Do that to each one of these 3 times. Cycle these through here. Get them to cool. Like I said, I want to do 3 cycles on them. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take 3 more pieces of that steel and get that into the forge. It's going to drop the temperature of the forge, and they're going to start heating up. as that's coming up to temp, just remind you guys it's a great time to go ahead, like and subscribe, hit that notification button, and be sure to check out some of the links in the description, Turtle Island's upcoming classes, as well as Iron Mountain Metal Craft and Forge Memory Family. You'll see a link there also for a friend of ours, Trenton Ty, Purgatory Ironworks, very well known and accomplished blacksmith, TV persona, a lot of movie props, cool guy in general. Coming down on that second cycle on everything here. Have I ever been on Forged in Fire? Yes, I have. Season 4, episode 2, I was on Forged in Fire. I was also season 1, episode 1 on Master of Arms. I've actually sent 3 people from my shop to Forged in Fire. Myself, season 4, episode 2. Josh Nicolaitis, who's Forged in Fire champion, season 6, episode 3. And then Cheyenne Brown, season 9, episode 5. While those are cooling, I got one more cycle for them. While those are cooling, I can turn this around. That's when I was on Forged in Fire. That's when Cheyenne was on Forged in Fire. That's when I was on Master of Arms. I think I got one of Josh's PR cards over here. There we go. And there's Josh right there. So yeah, we do some of that stuff. And okay, Cushy, what we're making right now, I'm forging out knife blades for an upcoming event. Generally run 3 cycles for grain refinement, and that's what I'm doing right now. That one did warp a bit. next batch of 3 are coming up pretty quick, and you may not be able to see into that glowing forge right there, but very shortly we'll start forging on them. Some of these are fighting me warm. That's okay, I'll string them out. Alright guys, so now we're pretty well up in temperature. Let's come on back over here to the power hammer and start hammering out some more blades. Alright, we're going to be drawing out the tangs again, and this makes the process go pretty quick. While they're heating up, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to move my my blade that's in the buckets here. I'm going to attempt to get 9 of these done within an hour's time. We're going to see if it happens or not. Woo! Once more, there's a class at the Turtle Island Preserve. Eustace Conway from Mountain Man Show on History Channel. This Saturday and Sunday, September 6th and 7th, at the Turtle Island Preserve in Boone, North Carolina. We'll be teaching there, myself and Cheyenne, with our head of Forge of Memory, Robbie Bowman, Forge of Fire fan favorite. We'll be down there. Link in the description. There's still a couple spots open. Check it out, people. I've got the tangs drawn out on that second heat, and now I'm going to do another cycle and finish drawing them out just a bit longer. That drew out nice and long. We're doing some hand forging shortly. But I guarantee they will be. Now, if you're trying to do something like this, where you're going to go through and try to forge a bulk amount, or maybe you're not forging, maybe you're doing some other type of crafting, setting yourself up with different stations so that you can move quickly and efficiently is critical. It is essential to that process. Take this, forge that tip down. Now you can see on this how much that edge has risen, how much that tip has come up. Well, that's from expanding that material. So now I'm going to come in here. Now I'm just going to keep doing that. Continue to make that tip rise. on or seen on? How's it going? That was going to need at least one more heat. Joe's a little bit thicker, so we'll need just a little more heat to it. Guys, I'm getting warm right here. I'll tell you what. Now, the color does look a lot hotter than what it actually is. blanks before I grind them and heat treat them, and I got 3 more pieces of 1 inch by 3/16. Well, thank you. I've actually had several people from Turkey check out the beads here, and thank you very much. So I'm going to let those temps come down just a little bit as I put that cold metal in there. I'm going to use a shadow to check my color. We're good for another heat. And I'm trying to do decreasing cycles so that cools down a little easier. And if I time this right, it'll work out just fine. What I'm going to try to do is get them all done about the same time so that I'll have just a little bit of time before those last 3 come up to 4 to 10. Once more, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, it's a great time to do that. Lower temps, they don't take as long to cool down, but they will still burn you quite badly. Right now, just coming up on an hour, we're at like 51 minutes, and you know, I don't think I'm going to be able to get all 9 of these done in an hour, but it's pretty close. Swinging the hammer all the time, having that power hammer. Hopefully get my press in the shop before too long. Those 3 are just about up to 10. Timed it just about perfect. 53.5 minutes into this. more. We're going through doing all these up because we've got an event coming up in October 17th, 18th, and 19th in Sevierville, Tennessee. And that is an event that Robbie Bowman's putting on, Forging Festival. That is at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And hope to see you guys there. If you want to see us this weekend, go to the link in the description for the Turtle Island Preserve, and you can sign up for a class. We're going to be doing, we're going to be forging railroad spike knives, horseshoe knives. We're also going to be doing primitive copper knives. And there's a special challenge for the copper knives. You guys check it out for sure. I'm going to kick this on. One more heat on that one. Guys, I'm wearing down. Jose, how's it going? Going great. They certainly would. Absolutely. You know, a lot of the tools I have are from 100 years ago, but having some power tools like the hammer, the press, the grinder makes a world of difference. And I've done everything from in-ground forging, coal forges, you know, solid fuel, gas. I haven't done induction forging yet, but I'm hoping to at some point. But it makes it very fast, makes it very efficient. Also helps keep the cost down on the product for the consumer. Also keeps wear and tear down on my shoulder a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Alright guys, now it's time for hand forging, and we'll see if I can get this going. Get it going, get it done. Now these are a bit thicker. That's probably closer to 1/4 inch thick on the spine. So probably going to take just a little more heat and beating here. together because I threw my hammer on the floor. I'm gonna grab another one. Here we go. Wear hearing protection. Anthony, the reason I don't wear hearing protection is I already have hearing loss. I had that from the time I was a little kid. This really don't bother me. The decibel level, there is a sharp ring in some cases, but the decibel level's not that bad. It's more the background, the kind of white noise. I've been doing this for 32 years. A lot of people ask me why I don't wear gloves. Well, because it affects how I swing my hammer and it causes more issues. I don't wear an apron sometimes just due to the heat of the amount that I'm in here. And if a lot of people ask me about a respirator, and there's another medical condition with that, unfortunately. And I do say unfortunately, there are times that I will use a respirator on some materials. Most of the time I don't. However, you do bring up a valid point that proper PPE for safety, highly recommend it. It's very important. Thank you. So I'm going to run 3 cycles on these blades. It's not quite cooled down enough. Job and put them in there and just let the heat radiate. There's some things that are recommended recommended that I can't say are safe. And some of those would be like, always wear long pants. It can keep you from getting burnt if you're wearing jeans or something similar. If you have heat stroke, it ain't healthy for you either. I always have people say, oh, come in wearing 2 long sleeve shirts. You're gonna die. It's that simple. The human body cannot take that much heat for that long and still it still be functional and not expire. So what I recommend is always take it with a grain of salt on the safety matters. Recently, I'm not going to get into politics, but recently we've been told everything from take this shot because it'll do this stuff and it doesn't. We've been told for the longest time, stay out of sunlight. When I was younger, they said, stay out of sun. And then they come about afterwards, go, no, you actually need sunlight. Well, no kidding. They tell you don't drink the water out of your faucet because it's got trace elements. Yeah, most water has trace elements in it. It's a universal solvent. But what I can say is definitely be safe about what you're doing. And don't get in a hurry. Very important. Judy Lewis, how's it going? Tom Fishman, how are you doing? All right, guys, here we go. I'm going to turn this off. And now while that temperature is coming down, I want to accelerate it cooling by putting these, they'll burn me, but relatively cold blades back into the forge. And what's going to happen is even though there's not fire being fed to that forge anymore, it is going to heat them up, and that's a pretty low red right now. So it's going to allow that to heat slowly to a low temp and then cool. That's going to help relieve some stress in the blade. And there you go. There's 9 blades in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Guys, thank you again. Please check out the links in the description. And we hope maybe down at the Turtle Island Preserve this weekend in Boone, North Carolina. Eustace Conway's from Mountain Men. There'll be 3 of us from, it looked like 4. This finger's not working well. There'll be 3 of us from Forged in Fire there. Myself, Cheyenne, and Robbie. And I guarantee you it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of people, and hope to see you there. You guys, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification button. Check out some of the other videos, and we'll see you in a few. Catch you later.